Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the relatively uncommon electric-type Pokemon Yamper, the Puppy Pokémon, and its uncommon evolution Boltund, the Dog Pokémon. Though they might make better pets than combatants, the members of the Yamper family are fun-loving canines that can prove to be loyal creatures to have around in and out of battle.
Yamper have short, stout, sausage-shaped bodies with brown fur in most of their form, save for the green and yellow pattern, heart-shaped mark on their posterior, and similar colors on the outside of their ears, and the white and yellow marks on their face. They have a puff of yellow fur on their neck region, and a cute, bolt-shaped tail, standing on and moving on 4 small, 3-toed feet as they stare at others with their green eyes. The evolved form, Boltund, have a longer body form with much longer legs and a dark green body color, with stripes of yellow and white around their legs and feet and down the center of their upper body, their front legs having white socks and their back legs yellow ones. Their tail is more whip-like and their ears a bit more pulled back, with a dark green nose and a more excited look to them as a whole, even if their form still resembles that of a basic canine.
The members of the Yamper family might appear to just be basic dogs, but this belittles the electrical power that they have access to.
As with some other mammalian Pokemon, these creatures have a special organ near the base of their tails that allows them to generate electricity through motion. While in the case of Yamper, this power is generated when they wag their tail vigorously. It is more closely tied to their legs when they evolve into Boltund, and they are thus able to keep their powers fueled simply by moving around. These creatures are generally not used for electrical powers outside of battle though, as they are actually sheep-herding dogs and are the best choices in places like the Galar region for herding livestock like Wooloo, and are intelligent enough to be easily trained for such a job. This is especially the case with Yamper, as they generally are able to contain their energy and keep themselves from blasting from one place to another, allowing for the easy movement of livestock from one place to another. Boltund tend to get more excited easily and can thus be a bit of a pain to control fully. Even so, these creatures have a knack for domestication and are so easy to work with that their own abilities reflect this, as well the easily excitable nature of Yamper can allow them to have Rattled as a hidden ability. At the same time, they are so readily trained that they have access to a unique base ability in Ball Fetch, in which if a trainer throws a capture device at a Pokemon and it fails the first time, Yamper will retrieve the ball and bring it right back to their owner, allowing for at least some conservation of resources.
Boltund, on the other hand, are more like wild dogs, and are able to make good use of their impressive jaw strength with their strong jaw base ability, though those that tend to react more strongly to others trying to lower their stats or otherwise intimidate them can also have competitive as a hidden ability.
And speaking of stats, and looking at those of Boltund, it can be said that they perform about as well as one might expect, with them having decent physical strength and a terrific agility as dogs are wont to have, so the base attack and speed stats are above average for a fully evolved electric-type Pokemon. Everything else, though, falls a bit behind the curve at best, and quite a bit short at worst, especially in regards to the limited defenses. Even so, these canines can prove to be a bit of a handful to deal with as a consequence of their deceptive speed, and can definitely be useful for getting a quick hit or two in before they might otherwise be felled by the strong offenses of an opposing fighter. While Yamper are among the slowest of electric-type Pokemon as a consequence of their very short legs, and are so ineffective at producing electricity that their only electric-type attack they learn naturally before they approach evolution is the Nuzzle attack, they are still highly valued as partners because of their lovable demeanor, even if their owners often have to handle them while wearing rubber gloves to avoid any accidental shocks from their body. While these dogs are instinctively obedient as a result of many generations of breeding, they are not quite a full success story because their motivations for obeying their trainers and their owners alike do not come from their heart, but mainly their brain and stomach. As it turns out, these creatures tend to only obey others when they know that they will be rewarded with a treat of some sort for completing their duties, and tend to not listen very well if they don't know that they will be getting something nice for their efforts. This can make them a bit of a pain to work with if money is tight, but their adorable looks are usually enough to win over anyone that is otherwise in the thought pathway that they need to learn how to listen without needing to be rewarded every single time. Despite this flaw, these creatures are only recently domesticated as seen in the evolutionary line, and thus are still in need of some tweaking to be as effective as other young canine Pokemon like Growlithe, but at the very least, they can still do their best to make their owners happy and give it their all, even if they might not be able to put up much of a fight at a young age and require careful coaching to make the most of them prior to evolution. When Yamper are finally able to evolve into Boltund, their stats take a dramatic turn, as not only do their offensive stats practically double or more in terms of their base stat value, but their base speed stat more than quadruples as a consequence of them developing much longer, sleeker legs that allow them to run at over 50 miles per hour with ease. This makes these creatures far superior to Yamper in almost every way, especially in regards to the types of attacks they can gain access to in this state. Much like the members of the Electrike family, Boltund are able to channel the electricity their bodies generate into their limbs in order to rapidly accelerate their bodies, going from a standstill to their top speed in only a matter of seconds of a full charge. Moreover, this charge allows these creatures to run for extremely long periods of time, up to 3 days without needing rest, and can thus make them perfect for outrunning others, opponents and friends alike, when it comes to long-term travel. However, for as great as these dogs are, they still don't have much to offer in the way of defense or natural stamina, and they tend to be easily excited to the point where it can be very difficult to keep up with them. As long as they are well trained though, this is an issue that is minor at best, and as a whole, these canines can be a real treat to have around and work with, even if they might sometimes be a bit too energy-packed for their own good.
While they might not outwardly look to be much worth concerning oneself over, the members of the Yamper family are lovable dogs that can certainly make something of themselves if given the chance and patience in raising. You might have to take some time to get them to learn to work with you without having to be bribed every time, but they are incredibly loyal canines and can make for great pets for children and adults alike with little concern.
Just make sure that you can keep up with them, at least somewhat if you plan on raising one. They might not be outspeeding much of anything as puppies, but as soon as their legs get long enough for a real run, they won't think twice about leaving others in the dust when needed, even if that includes you the moment a Squoven or Greedent decides to show their face to these lovable pooches. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
Yeah, no.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.